McCall's room. And so that is where it is. We did the entire decor of the room around the colors and the feel of this quilt. There are strips in this quilt that are a black background with little flowers. And Jean found a wallpaper that seemed to be exactly the same as the fabric used in the quilt. And we carried the theme of the quilt into the bathroom as well.
For Susan, quilts aren't just beautiful and romantic reminders of her childhood. They also serve a practical purpose.
Sometimes nail polish gets dropped or wine gets spilled and things get ripped and worn. The quilts, however, when they're stained or torn, we can replace just one little piece of material. So the quilts have an added benefit that they can be repaired and they can be cleaned.
The quilt that adorns this dazzling bed was discovered in the very city that served as the inspiration for the inn.
Jean purchased this quilt in Lancaster, and her intent was to bring out the pink and make a pink and white room. But a pink room was not a popular choice for our guests, especially for our male corporate guests. We always joked that they had to be very secure in their masculinity in order to feel comfortable in this room.
Because quilts are so versatile, you can mix and match them with most any color scheme.
After about 2 years, we removed everything pink in the room except for the quilt. So now we have a green and white room with pink accents, and everyone seems to like it just fine.
So whether you're looking for romance, a nostalgic escape down memory lane, or the down-home comfort of a room in a home like your grandmother's, here's proof that a quilt can transform any bedroom into a home away from home.
Doesn't that look like a great place to spend Valentine's Day? Well, when we come back, we'll make a Valentine's Day quilt using lace doilies, a true gift from the heart.
Brought to you by Kleenex Cold Care. For your worst colds, it's all your nose needs.
Debbie!
It's a fact. The bigger the man, the bigger the baby. Thank goodness for Kleenex tissues. Kleenex makes the softest tissues you can get for your baby.
This pet tip brought to you by Ralston Purina. When your dog smells like a dog, he needs a bath. A garden hose works fine in summer, but when it's cold, you'll need an indoor tub.
Come on.
You'll also need a brush and comb,
Sparky.
3 or 4 bath towels,
Sparky.
and a shampoo made especially for dogs.
Sparky.
Never get suds or water in eyes or ears.
Sparky.
The bath is easy. Now, all you need is a dog.
Sparky.
Bacon! Bacon! Where's the bacon? I smell bacon! 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 Gotta be bacon! Only one thing smells like bacon! That's bacon! Bacon, 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 bacon! There! From that bag! What's it say? I can't read! Please, please, give me what's in the bag! Chewy, yummy, smoky bacon!
There you go.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy! No, 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 no! It's bacon!
No, it's Bacon Strips, brand dog snack from Purina. Bacon Strips. Dogs don't know it's not bacon.
It's bacon!
It's a Saturday. Hey, you're flying away. Baking up some cinnamon. Feeling you'll be right back in. My heart to yours.
Friday, it's a night of dreams and fantasies on HGTV. At 10, Fantasy Open House tours a $5 million oceanfront cottage on Martha's Vineyard. Then at 10:30, Dream Drives heads to Detroit's Lakeshore Road, where stunning waterfront mansions showcase the wealth of America's early auto industry. Your night of dreams and fantasies begins with Fantasy Open House, followed by Dream Drives. Friday night at 10 on HGTV.
Welcome back to Simply Quilts. We're about to stitch a romantic lacy quilt from the book, Doily Magic, Sweet and Simple Patchwork. Joining me today is author and quilt designer Sharon Rexroad-Ericson. Sharon, welcome to Simply Quilts.
Thanks, Alex. It's fun to be here.
We've known each other for quite a while.
Right.
How did you first get interested in making quilts from doilies?
It's sort of a funny story because one of my favorite quotes is by A.A. Milne, who we normally think of the author as the Winnie the Pooh books. But he also once said that one of the advantages of being disorderly is the joy of discovery. I had some doilies that should have been put away probably 2 or 3 months ago sitting on some side table. And I was looking at a baby bunting quilt in Quilter's Newsletter magazine, saw the doilies out of the corner of my eye and realized I could cut them into quarters and turn them into fan quilts, heart quilts, anything else I wanted to do.
And you've made a lot of these quilts.
I made the first one about 5 years ago and have just kept going with them. They've been loads of fun, real easy to do, and really romantic.
Let's take a look at the quilt we're making today. It's called In Love with Lace.
Right.
How difficult is this?
This is very, very simple. Alice, can you say glue stick?
Glue stick, I can do it. Yeah. Well, what supplies do we need?
Basically, you need your fabric that you're going to start with, you need doilies, basic quilting supplies, and a glue stick, and that's it.
And what kind of glue stick?
I like to use the purple glue sticks because you can see them on the doilies.
Okay, well, what kind of doilies do you need to look for?
There's one of the keys to making this quilt to turn it into hearts is that you have to start out with a doily that has 8 quarters to it, or 8 segments to it. And let me just count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's very simple because when you cut that into quarters, you're going to get a heart.
Okay.
This is an example of one that doesn't work because when you cut it into quarter, you would end up with a fan. It's a lovely quilt, but not the project we're doing today.
So hunt out doilies with 8.
Right.
8 lumps.
8 lumps on it. 8 scallops, 8 lumps.
Now, what about fabric?
There, you start out with a romantic fabric that has a wide variety of pinks or reds in it. From there, you're going to pick a variety of fabrics. In this quilt, we use 6 different fabrics. Some are plainer, some are geometric, some are more heavily patterned, and then we adapt our doilies to the fabrics that we're working with. You also don't want the exact same color pink. As you can see here, we pushed into purple. Some are darker, some are lighter.
It makes it a lot more interesting.
Right.
Now, do you use a certain doily on certain fabric? Is that any sort of consideration?
Right. You have doilies like this that are very delicate. You have doilies like this that have a very bold white edge. And as an example here, on this heavily patterned fabric, you lose the delicate doily. It does not show up. But when you put a doily like this that has a bold white edge on it, it's going to show up wonderfully.
It really does make a difference. So what would you use the delicate one on?
The delicate one looks very pretty on this geometric one that reads solid, but gives a little bit of interest because it's got the visual texture of the plaid underneath.
Now, I noticed that these are all white, and you have an ecru doily here. Any rules with that?
Basically, if you have a more Americana or a rustic house, a lot of people are going to like the ecru doily. Those look really good on the documentary kind of fabrics. This one here is a dark barn red, and it has a little bit of ecru pattern in it, so you get a more country look.
But today we're working with white.
Right, we're using white doilies and using crisp, clear colors, so it's a bright, crisp, clear quilt.
Okay, how do we get started as far as cutting the fabric? What do we need?
The basic thing is, out of each of your 6 fabrics, you're going to cut a 10-inch square.
Okay.
That's all you need to make 4 blocks when you add the little side strips to it. You know how with a log cabin quilt, you add the strips and you add them on the side in progression? For this quilt, you're going to have your first strip that you add to the sides are going to be 2-inch by 5-inch.
Okay.
And you cut 4 of those because you're going to get 4 blocks out of this 10-inch square. And then your second strip you're going to add is 2-inch by 6.5-inch. That's all you need.
That's it, to make this wonderful little wall hanging.
Right.
And it's easy.
It is easy.
That's the good news. When we come back, Sharon will show us how to make lacy hearts for our Valentine quilt.
Today I made an omelet.
I picked an apple.
I sent the fax.
This is about chemotherapy and living your life. This is about Procrit. If you're a chemotherapy patient and you feel tired and weak, ask your doctor about Procrit.
I played a game.
Procrit is a natural way to regain red blood cells lost during chemotherapy. And more red blood cells can mean more strength.
I caught a fish.
Procrit is safe and effective. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo. Procrit is for patients with non-myeloid cancers.
I went to the store.
Call now and learn how Procrit can help you get back the strength you need. Your strength for living.
the door for more space where you need it. The Conquest Refrigerator. It's the conquest of space. Whirlpool, just imagine.
Right now, get up to $300 cash back by mail-in rebate on selected Whirlpool appliances. See your authorized Whirlpool dealer for details.
Once upon a time, choosing paint was simple. Every color you picked was just right. Today at Lowe's, choosing the best paint is simple once again with American Tradition. So advanced, it shows you complete color themes. So durable inside and out, it's warranted for life, all at a guaranteed low price. The paint you've been waiting for is here. American Tradition, only at Lowe's, improving home improvement.
By the time they reach 40, something like 40% will already have visibly thinning hair, which wouldn't be such a big deal.
Except we're women.
30 million of us with hereditary hair loss.
Shocked? So were we.
Helpless? No, we're not.
Because now we know there's Rogaine. Rogaine is stronger than heredity.
Rogaine can help us keep the hair we've got.
Rogaine can regrow the hair we've lost.
So when you realize the hair on the bathroom floor isn't your husband's, remember.
There's hope, there's help, there's Rogaine.
Welcome back. I'm Alex Anderson with Sharon Rexroad-Ericson, and we've been making a romantic Valentine quilt. Sharon, where did you get interested in doilies?
I got interested in them at my grandmother's house. She's the one who made the quilts that my sister and I fought over who got to sleep under which one. And she also had the old antimassers, the doilies that were on the back of chairs so that the men's hair oil wouldn't get the chairs all messed up. But I liked playing with the doilies at her house.
Well, if you're buying a new doily, what can you expect to spend?
The craft doilies, which we've used for this project, usually run between $1 and $2 for the 8-inch doilies that we use for this quilt.
And you can get 4 hearts from one doily.
Right, so it really isn't that cost prohibitive.
No, not at all.
And the quilt we're making only uses 6 doilies.
That's good. Yeah. What do we do? Let's take a look at this one before we see what we do. This is what we're going to be working on. It's so simple.
Yeah.
It's great. Okay, so what do we do?
Basically, the first thing you're going to do is mark 2 lines on your 10-inch square.
Okay.
Now, we're using a black marker here so that it'll show up for TV, but just use a pencil at home. And basically, you do 5 inches from either edge in both directions.
All right.
And it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but it's basically so it gives you a place to position the doily from.
All right, because that is important.
Right. You want to make sure that when you get the doily laid on that you don't have it not going through the scallop. You want the valleys between the scallops to go on the lines.
Because you'd lose your heart otherwise.
Right.
Okay. Then what do we do?
Basically, this is where you use the glue stick, and I'm going to show you why we don't use the clear ones.
All right.
You can't really see it on TV. You can't see it on the doily.
Okay.
And I used to use the clearer white ones until I was watching an old Magnum PI with Tom Selleck. I had gone around the doily 3 times. I was watching Tom, but it's like I couldn't see where it was, and that's when I switched to the purple ones.
All right.
I know some people are concerned about the color and the chemicals. I've had a quilt that I made 5 years ago. I used the purple one. You wash it first with clear water, no detergent. The chemical comes out, and the doily has not had the problem. But you can see here by dabbing it on, and we'll take it off of the pink because it blends into the pink here.
Is there a wrong side to the doily?
Some doilies have a right side and a wrong side, and it really doesn't matter. You just decide which is the right and wrong side for you. But you dab it on the edge. If your doily gets, or your doily grabs too much of the glue, it means you need to just stick your glue stick in the refrigerator and that'll get rid of the gloppies. I usually have 2 glue sticks, keep one in the refrigerator. When it gets too messy, I switch to the cold one.
Doesn't this purple dry clear also?
It also ends up drying clear. I go around the edge gently and then I go across where the quilt is going to have the block cut apart. If you forget to do this step, it's not critical. It'll work out fine anyway.
You're just making life easier for us
here.
Just
making it easier. Basically, then you flip it over, center it over the lines. It's not critical that the center of the doily end up at exactly the X. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Most of these doilies are handcrafted, so they aren't perfect. And if somebody's going up and saying, this doily isn't exactly the same as that doily, tell them to get a life.
I can't believe you'd really say that.
Well, I never have, but it frees people up for feeling that they have to be obsessive compulsive about this. But see, the black line here that we drew that you would have in pencil goes into the valley.
All right, now what do we do?
You basically then just take your ruler, lay it on the 5-inch line there. It should be about where you drew your black line before.
You could really whip this out in a day if you
the
are a seasoned quilter.
The original quilt that I made, and I was still figuring out how I was going to make it, I made in a day.
Exactly.
It's so simple. You've got the beginning of 4 blocks. You've got 4 hearts out of 1 doily.
Okay, now what do we do with these pieces that we cut? And what are their sizes again?
Again, this one, the small one, is going to be 5 inches, because that's 5 inches. It's 2 inches here. It's like the beginning of a log cabin. You're going to sew it on here. You're going to start at the end that has the doily. You're going to have to lift up the presser foot when you get to the beginning of the seam, and then you're going to just stitch down. You'll fold it out. You'll have it like that.
All right.
The other one, your block is now, by the time you get rid of the seam allowances, is 6.5 inches by the 2 inches. You sew it on like the second edge of a log cabin. If you get it to a little lump and your sewing machine doesn't like to go over the doily, you lift it up, put the pressure foot back down, and just keep on sewing.
And then it ends up like this.
And your block is done.
This would be an excellent quilt for a beginner.
Yeah,
it really would.
It really is. And it looks difficult because the lace is intricate. But unless you're going to crochet your own doilies, it's very, very easy to do.
Now, how many blocks do we need for the wall hanging?
You basically end up with 4 blocks of 6 fabrics, which means 24 blocks.
All right. Now, what about the sashing that goes in between the blocks? What do we need to cut for that?
The sashing, we're going to use a pale fabric that's going to contrast with all of them. They're 1.5 by 6.5.
Okay.
And then you're going to have little accent squares that are going to go in between. They're just 1.5 inches square. You're going to have 48 pieces of the pale sashing. You're going to have 31 of the little corner points.
And if somebody were a beginner, you could even skip this and just put them all together, couldn't you?
Right, you could just put them together, you'd end up with a smaller quilt. This just gives it a little higher contrast and sets off each block individually.
It looks pretty good, you know? When we come back, we'll put our hearts together and make our Valentine quilt.
Information about the products or projects on today's episode is available by visiting our website at hgtv.com or by calling 865-694-7879 Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. Please note today's episode number.
Okay, so you want to put in new blinds, spruce the place up, right? And you want the good stuff at the best price. Name brands like Hunter Douglas, Graber, Levalor. One call to National Blinds takes care of everything. It's easy. They'll send you a blind kit with dozens of styles and colors free. And you'll pay less, a lot less, not 50 or 60, but as much as 82% off. So call for your free blind kit with measuring guide. Plus, if you call now, you'll get free UPS shipping when placing your first order. Call 1-800-698-7200 today.
I want to slip into a billion-gallon jacuzzi. I want to free my feet from sensible shoes. I want to greet the sun in the morning and put it to bed at night. I want personal choice cruising. Princess, I want to go back where I belong.
I adopted Cece at 5 months old. We have something special. I can't explain. We're always there for each other, and Purina Cat Chow is always there for us. More than great nutrition, Purina Cat Chow gives us access to behaviorists, nutritionists, and vets who can help us with all kinds of cat questions. Thanks to Purina Cat Chow brand, Cece's healthier and happier, aren't you?
Physical, emotional, complete. That's the Purina Cat Chow way of life.
The sun, your shades, a rainbow in the palm of your hand. something cozy, someplace homey. Whatever you dream, you can create. At Joann, we have the inspiration, the notions, and ideas outside the box. Save now on apparel fabrics to create must-have fashions this spring. Joann Fabrics and Crafts and Joann ETC.
This Daily Almanac is brought to you by Princess Cruises.
Today is February 14th. If you just received a beautiful bouquet of flowers for Valentine's Day, help them last longer. Cut the stems underwater with very sharp scissors. Then add 2 tablespoons of white vinegar and 2 tablespoons of cane sugar in a quart of water in the vase. The vinegar prevents bacteria growth and the sugar feeds the flowers.
Welcome back to Simply Quilts. We're about to finish off our lacy doily quilt with the help of Sharon Rexroad-Ericson. Sharon, do you ever use antique doilies?
I do have some of the vintage doilies that I've started to use in sampler quilts. The challenge with antique doilies is you rarely can get a lot of the same size with the same shape.
Oh.
You also have to make the decision that this is a doily you're willing to cut apart.
So if it's Grandma's hand-tatted one, you might think twice.
Yes and no, because sometimes you're going to just leave it in a doily basket and never see it if it's in the basket. Sometimes it's really neat if you only have one of Grandmother's doilies, you could make, and it's 8 scalps, you could make 4 hearts, give it to your sisters, your cousins, so everybody has one of Grandma's doilies.
That's a great idea. Now, what do we need to know to assemble this quilt?
Well, this is a quilt where the hearts are set vertically so they're on point. And that means we've got a diagonal set. We've got the sashing in between the blocks, and then we've got the little cornerstones in between the sashing. You're going to sew it together in diagonal rows first, and then you're going to sew the diagonal rows together. To get the triangles that are the right grain for the side, you're going to, out of each of your colors, you're going to have a 9 3/4 inch square that you cut into quarters diagonally.
Quarter square triangle.
Quarter square triangles, that gives you the ones for the side. You're going to have a couple extras, so don't worry about that. Then for the 4 corners of the quilt, you're going to have a 5 1/8 inch square cut on the diagonal. You only need 4 of them, but cut them from all 6 quarters because that gives you the flexibility to play around with what color you want where.
And that keeps everything on the correct grain.
This means the straight grain is here, and then on these, the straight grain is here.
Now, what about borders?
The border is just going to be 6 1/2 inch wide because you're going to have the 6 1/2 inch wide block in the corner up here. And you just cut it the length of the quilt and then the width of the quilt. And that's all you do for the borders.
Is there anything you need to think about when you quilt it?
The one thing that's real interesting about this is that the glue stick will hold the doily down until you're ready to quilt it. If it happens to come up, just glue stick it a little bit there, and then I actually quilt through the doily. And I do it by machine. If you really like hand quilting only, and I know you do, you can slip stitch the edge of the doily down first, or I've actually started quilting through the doilies. You get big stitches on the back, but you get a lovely look on the front of the quilt. The other thing we didn't mention earlier was when we're sewing these seams here, you may want to shorten your stitch length just a little bit so that between the glue stick and the shorter stitch length, you don't have to worry about the doily raveling and pulling out.
Okay. Well, you've also brought some other quilts that are not Valentine's Day quilts.
Right.
And they're lovely. Let's take a look at them.
Okay.
Starting with the half square doily.
Right. That one is the simplest quilt in the whole book. Glue stick your doily down, lay your other square on top of it, make half square triangles. When you open up your blocks, you've got half a doily on one block, half a doily on another block. Very easy to do.
Now, drunkard's doily, that's kind of a funny name.
Right. It's a drunkard's path quilt, which is really usually very difficult to make because you have the curved piecing. This one, glue stick the doily down, zigzag around it, cut it into quarters, you've got 4 blocks already made.
And then your friendship doily?
Right, that's one that I did for Quilt Maker magazine. We called it Fans of the Happy Couple. People have been making it for birthdays, weddings, and anniversaries. It's a signature quilt and it's great.
And then your big heart quilt, it's terrific.
Right, that's in the follow-up book, More Doily Magic. And that one is the exact same block, the exact same measurements. We made it with 35 fat quarters, which we all love to collect all the time, and then 35 doilies. It's a queen bed quilt.
And no sashing.
No sashing.
It is spectacular.
Thanks.
I'd like to thank you for coming today. Happy Valentine's Day to you.
Happy Valentine's Day to you.
and keep making wonderful quilts.
Thanks much, Alex.
This is a great idea for a Valentine's Day quilt that's easy to fall in love with. I hope you've enjoyed today's special edition of Simply Quilts. We'll see you next time.